All right, so because earlier we had talked about this problem and I said I was going to get back to you, I did all of the work on a separate sheet of paper, but felt the best way to do this problem, because it is a little bit more complex than we had anticipated. I wanted to make sure that I showed you how to do it, not just uploaded um, the work and then hoped you understood what we were doing. So what I'm going to show you first is that in our initial problem, you saw that I did put on our first page when we tried this earlier, I did show that that entire length is r plus 7. And we do have a right triangle that includes that entire angle of 28 plus 19. So if we make this entire angle and add it up, we know that's going to be 47 degrees. So the first thing that I want to do with this 47-degree angle is I want to take the trig ratio according to this. So I have opposite and adjacent that I'm working with. So we're going to write out tangent 47 equals opposite, which is r plus 7, over adjacent, which is s. Now, instead of me working with a bunch of decimals and then getting farther and farther away from the value we're looking for, I'm going to write this so that it's automatically thought of as our proportion. We know that that decimal that I'm going to use is going to be tangent 47. So I'm not even going to write the decimal. I'm just going to leave it like this. I'm going to cross multiply because it is a proportion, which means I'm going to take s times tangent 47 and 1 times r plus 7. Now what's nice is I don't even have to worry about anything distributing because it's just 1 times r plus 7. So I'm going to put the s out in front. Our tangent 47 is technically our number, and it's going to equal r plus 7. Now again, if for some reason I had all of this in another kind of proportion, we'd have to remember to distribute, but 1 times anything is just itself. Because I want to keep everything in terms of the same variable, because I have a second right triangle up here that has r. So I want my answer in terms of r. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. And what that's going to leave me with is s times our tangent 47 minus 7 equals r. Now I get it. We haven't solved for anything yet, but at least this is going to allow me to deal with the same variable now that I have to do this triangle. So I'm going to redraw my triangle for the next problem. This time, we're only going to worry about that top triangle with our 28 degrees. We have s, and now instead of r, this is going to be s times tangent 47 minus 7. So we're going to substitute that into our right triangle here so that it's easier to look at. So now when we're going to work this one out, we want to label according to our reference angle. Here's again our opposite side, and here's our adjacent side. So this time we're going to take tangent of 28 equals opposite, so s tangent 47 minus 7 over adjacent, which is just s. Again, because I'm going to want to try to do this so that I'm dealing with a proportion that's as close to exact value, I'm going to pretend that this was over 1. And now I'm going to cross multiply again. So when I cross multiply this time, I'm going to take s times tangent 28 and 1, thankfully, times all of that in the numerator. S goes out front, tangent 28 equals s tangent 47 minus 7. Now we kind of dealt with this when we worked with logarithms and we were trying to solve for a value. So notice how I have like terms. Remember, this is s times a number, and this is s times a number. So let's bring all those s's to this side. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to subtract s tangent 47, so s times that decimal, from both sides of our equal sign. And what that leaves me with will look like this. S times this number, tangent 28, minus s times this number, tangent 47, equals -7. They both have s, so factor it out. So now we have s times tangent 28 minus tangent 47. So s times this number is equal to -7. Now it's crazy looking, but it's a number, and I could have put it all in my calculator with a decimal and just had one decimal times s, but this now at least will give me an exact value. So to get a number away from s, because it's s times this, I have to divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by tangent 28 minus tangent 47. And our exact value for s would be -7 divided by tangent 28 minus tangent 47. So this is where now I go to my calculator, and I'm going to use that second function that helps out so much. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out what tangent 28 is. So tangent 28, enter. And that's 0.5317, bunch of stuff. Now I'm going to subtract tangent 47. Notice I keep putting equal so that I have that accounted for. And I have that negative. So just to kind of keep track here, s is equal to -7 over -0.540659278. Of course, we're not going to write all those out normally, but what I do have is that second answer function, that cut and paste. So I'm going to plug in -7 divided by second answer, so cut and paste, and our approximate answer for s is about 12.9. You can see it's 12.947, but this is the value that I want to use for s. Now I'm not taking this off of my screen, because if this is s, I already have my function set up here to solve for r. So s is right here, that's the 12.9. I'm going to multiply it by tangent 47, and then I'm going to subtract 7 to get r. So there's the 12.9. I'm going to push times tangent 47, enter, because we've done that operation in our order of operations. And now I'm going to subtract 7, and we end up with 6.884124, etc. But because the question says round to the nearest tenth, we have 6.9 is about r. And I will say you can thank your classmate for asking about that problem, because it was definitely more involved than I even anticipated. I did solve it using, again, law of cosines with this guy, and it works. It's interesting the way this was set up. We had to make sure that we solved for one variable, like we did here for r, to then use it over here so that we can find the other one and then plug that back in. So kind of like a system without being a system. So hopefully that helps. Make sure you guys write out all the steps and just practice it yourself, but that is done now for you for number 16. Just make sure you have that recorded on your paper. Thank you for your patience. Have a great night.